Hi guys, my name is Trinity, and if you're here to talk about books. Ignore the hat. I am trying to grow out this side of my hair and it's not cooperating today. So we are wearing a hat to do these videos for today, my day of recording. So I did say that I was going to post a small book haul in September because I knew there were some books that were coming that I was excited for. And so this is part 2 of my September book haul. First, we have the Fairy Loot version of Babel or Babel, whichever way you want to call it, by R.F. Kuang. Look at that. This is gorgeous. Now, I'm going to admit something to you guys. I haven't been excited to read this book because I didn't like the Poppy War. But I didn't like the Poppy War because of Ren, not because of R.F. Kuang's writing. So I'm warming up to the idea of reading this. The initial reviews have been very, very good. So I will likely read this sometime in the near future. But I can't get over this. This is just absolutely stunning. Next, I got some follow-ups to books I have already read this year. I bought Gemina by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is a sci-fi story that is told in mixed media format. It is pretty dang cool. I like the audiobooks for these because it gives a very good immersive read. However, I do like them enough to have physical copies of them as well. And they are a pretty cool talking piece. Like if you want to talk to someone about the book, you can show them what's inside and be like, isn't this just the coolest book ever? So absolutely loved the first one. I'm excited to continue on the Amy Kaufman wagon again. Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, Beyond the End of the World. The first book in this series I absolutely loved. It was fantastic. Probably one of the best young adult books I've ever read. So I'm very, very excited to continue. Most of the rest of these will be from the buy-sell trade. I actually got kicked out of the house one day. Well, not really kicked out of the house, but my husband and kiddo decided they wanted to play video games and I didn't want to sit around and watch them. They were playing together, but I was just like, okay, I'm done. So I went to the buy-sell trade and I got Those Across the River by Christopher Buehlman. And I've heard a lot of good things about the author, but have never read anything from him. And this says, haunted by memories of the Great War, failed academic Frank Nichols and his wife have arrived in the sleepy Georgia town of Whitboro, where Frank hopes to write a history of his family's old estate, the Savoyard plantation, and the horrors that occurred there. At first, their new life seems everything they wanted, but under the facade of summer socials and small-town charm, there is an unspoken dread the townsfolk have lived for generations, a presence that demands sacrifice. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about this. Plus, it sounded like a great October read. Now, these next two I found, they are duologies. Like what, this is a duology and this is a duology, but they're set in the same world. And it says, The Wizard's Promise, The Nobleman's Revenge, The Assassin's Curse, and The Pirate's Wish. But they both sounded really good. And if I can remember which one of these was actually the first one, I'd read the synopsis, but because I can't remember, I'm just going to show them off and say that the synopsis sounded good. And I was very excited for like a tandem duology set in this world, but I'm very excited to get into these. I do believe that they are young adult. I'm not 100% sure. Next, I found a physical copy of the Conductors. I do have this on audio, so I'm excited to immersive read it. But this mixes the history of the Underground Railroad with magic. And so I thought that that would be really cool. And I haven't read it yet, which I've had it on Audible for quite some time. So I'm excited that I have a physical copy and I can immersive read it now. I got the second novella by Catherine Addison, The Grief of Stones. I am honestly purchasing these because I keep finding them in hardback at the buy-sell trade, but I'm not going to read them until I have read The Goblin Emperor, which is a book I want to read soon at some point. So I have been in the mood for like short stories. I've been in the mood to try books that have multiple authors and things like that. get a taste of some other authors. And I found Hex Life. It says Wicked New Tales of Witchery, and it has Kelly Armstrong, Theodora Goss, Rachel Kane, Sherilyn Kenyon, a lot of authors that I have loved in the past. And so I picked this up hoping to have some witchy tales again for October possibly. But I wanted to pick up something that was a lighter read. You guys know I am judging SPSFC, so I'm trying to fit in lighter reads alongside it. Also, books that I have been dying to read alongside it. And I have to say, work-life balance is not working so well right now, but I'll get there. Okay, and a book that I've actually heard of, like whenever I was reading a lot of urban fantasy, fae stories, witchy stories, I had heard of this before. And it's Of Blood and Honey by Stina Leek. And this is set in Ireland, dealing with the fae. And I do believe fallen angels. Yes, fallen angels and the fae clash against the backdrop of Irish-English conflicts of the 1970s in the stunning debut novel by Stina Leek. Liam never knew who his father was. The town of Derry had always assumed that Liam was the bastard of a Protestant. Liam's mother never spoke of the man, so Liam had assumed him dead. When the war between the fae and the fallen begins to heat up, Liam and the woman he loves are pulled into conflict invisible to most humans, a conflict in which Liam's father fights on the front lines. So I thought that was pretty dang cool. An author I have wanted to try is Mike Chen. I have no idea if I'm going to like this author's writing or not, but this book is pretty short. And I know he writes about superheroes, so I'm not certain I'm going to love this. But I have been wanting to try more superhero stories. You guys know that I read Brandon Sanderson's Steelheart, but that wasn't my taste. I'm hoping that this will be a little bit more my lane. We will see. We will see. Next, I bought In a Garden Burning Gold by Roy Power. I have heard this book is dark and it is very well written. And so that's why I picked it up. I love dark fantasy. I really like almost grimdark, but not quite fantasy. And so this one says, twins imbued with incredible magic and near immortality will do anything to keep their family safe, even if it tears the siblings apart. But yeah, I've heard it's filled with magic and betrayal and just dark stuff all through, and that makes me excited. Now this next one, okay, so I own another series starter for this author, and it's an author I have been told I'm not gonna like. But I have fallen into the trap of FOMO and the book only being like $1 at the buy-sell trade, and I bought Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the Dragon's Path is back there behind me. So yes, I do own Age of Ash and Dragon's Path, not knowing if Daniel Abraham is the author for me. However, I have been warned off of Long Price Quartet by quite a few people. Quite a few people have told me, do not read the Long Price Quartet. You will not like it. But I did pick up Age of Ash, just wanting to give the author a chance. You know, the only thing I've read by Daniel Abraham was Leviathan Wakes. I did hate that. So we'll see. All right, guys. The book I have been waiting all year for. You guys know that I had 3 books that I was just dying to get my hands on. One is not released yet. I have the Martyr. Bonds of Chaos by Zach Argyle. And it is autographed. So I have absolutely loved this series. What you're getting into with this series is fast-paced fantasy. You are getting character and plot in equal measure, which I absolutely love. You are getting very morally gray characters with very hopeful insights to this world. You're getting parents in this series. And I love the parental figures in this series so much. I love Alvarax. Very excited for him to feature in this book. I love these characters. I love this world. I love the magic system. I'm dying to read this, guys. Dying to read this. I am currently reading The Martyr, and this will probably be the next book that I pick up. Okay, so for my Book of the Month offerings, I could not pass up Killers of a Certain Age. This is about 60-year-old former assassins who are on the run and having to pick up their assassin ways again. And I am dying to get into this. It sounds like it's going to be so good. So good. And if you guys have watched any of my videos from earlier this year, you will know that I absolutely fell in love with The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. So when they offered Love on the Brain, I couldn't pass it up. I have read a novella in her Steminus novella series. Loved that. And there's 2 more, I believe, in the Steminus novella series. But when I saw there was a new novel from her, yeah, I had to get it. I had to get it. I don't even know what this book is about. However, I will tell you that Ali Hazelwood writes about women in STEM and loves the grump sunshine trope. So very much looking forward to this. All right, that is it for my video today. Like, subscribe, do all the fun things, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.